Hello, everybody. I know it's been a very long time since I've made a video or reposted, but I was trying to get inspiration to make a video because I was desperate to make something. I feel bad. And I realized that a lot of you guys really like my Answer Unknown series, so I thought maybe I could read to you my very, very rough draft. That's very bonkers. And I'll read through everything I've written. And lots of things can change. That's a possibility. So that's why I'm willing to read this, because it will definitely be going in a different direction. So chapter 1. "Stop it," the boy shouts as he stands up, slamming the book he was reading onto the table, the furthest table away from the entrance of the activity room. A girl has been stalking him for a different corner of the activity room for 3 weeks straight. Every morning after breakfast to bedtime at night, she just sits and stares at him reading. They sat in silence as the boy pointed at the girl and the girl staring back. He noticed how blue her hair looked, even when cast in a dark shadow. The large, mint green eyes of the girl stared directly at him, putting him at ease. Suddenly, she stands up and walks, closing some distance between them. Continuing to point, he and the girl stayed in silence for a minute before he spoke up. "I'll give you, this book. Read it and please leave me alone." He hands over the book to her. He then sprints to the cafeteria. Alone now, the girl takes a seat at the boy's table. Not his spot, but next to it as if he's still there. Tracing the book, the girl feels the fake yet nice leather texture, and I did not use commas, and gold letters pressed into it. She opened the book and then immediately closed it, shocked by the amount of words there are on the very first page. She didn't even read the actual words yet. Opening the book again, she attempted to read the book. The pages were littered with words she had neither seen nor heard anyone spoken before, making it impossible to understand the book. She closed the book in defeat, pushed it to the side, and flopped her head and arms onto the table, spilling her long hair everywhere. She buried her head into her arms and fell asleep from thinking too hard. Sometime later, the boy peeked his head into the activity room, hoping the girl was gone. Instead, he sees that very girl sleeping at his table. He quietly approached and saw her completely passed out. He picked up his book and noticed his bookmark untouched. "Seriously? You didn't even bother to read it!" As he held the book in his hands distraught, he looked at the girl, shaking his head. The boy then turned to the wall and ran his finger along the books of the activity room. The activity room has many tables in it, all low to the ground where the children sit on the floor. 2 of the walls are bookshelves from top to bottom, but half of the wall left to the entrance is filled with art projects and supplies from all the children. The boy is soon to run out of books to read, with the book he had given to the girl being his last. He finally stops at the picture book section, the largest section of the shelves. The boy had flipped through all the pictures books long years ago. They made him bored out of his mind. He scans his fingers along the skinny spines of the book until he finds what he wants. I am so sorry. Oh, I can't read my own writing. At first he hesitated, then he grabbed it. This book was the thickest of all the picture books. He takes it back to his table. The boy sets the book next to the girl who was still sound asleep. He takes his book back and walks away. In the hallway, the boy was walking to his bedroom when an adult approached him. "Hey, walking back to your room? Must be tired after playing all day," the lady said with a smile. "No." The lady watched, aghast, as the boy continued to walk away without acknowledging the lady's existence. Slightly offended, she continued heading towards her destination. There, the lady saw the girl who was not only still asleep, but also the only one in the activity room. "Hey, sweetie, we gotta get you back to your room. I know you're sleepy." Saying this, the lady grabs the girl's white hand and whisked away. Whisked? whips her away, but not before the girl snatched the book next to her. In her bedroom now, the girl sets the book next to her mattress and plops down sideways onto her bed. The lady covered her with a plain white blanket and wished her good night as she closed the door. Now that the room was enshrouded in complete darkness, the girl was already asleep without having a chance to think about what tomorrow brings. The sun rises, coloring everything in yellow and pink. The girl wakes up immediately and looks to the floor on her right. To her surprise, there wasn't a brown book, but instead a blue one. The girl picked it up and sees that it was a completely different book than the one she remembered. Reading the title, Flowers, she carefully turned each page, seeing all the bright, colorful flowers. The girl gets out of bed and leaves her room quickly. She waits in the activity room. After a little while, everyone starts pouring in after eating breakfast. She immediately spots her boy, since he's wearing a red handkerchief over his curly blonde hair and a short-sleeved knitted sweater, so he's an easy person to recognize anywhere. The boy also spots her and recoils. He then sighed, walked up, and sat in his spot. The girl stared wide-eyed at the boy as the boy opened his book. The boy ignores the girl, trying to read his book in peace. Suddenly, he gets a white hand gently waving over his page. "What?" the boy inquired, annoyed. The girl points to her book, specifically the name of a flower. "Asters?" The girl nodded, and he lost the annoyance in his voice immediately. "I thought you would pick a blue flower." Then the girl points to one of the fun facts. Asters come in many colors, including purple, pink, white, red, orange, yellow, and even blue. "Oh, so you did pick a blue flower after all. Because of your hair." He laughs. The girl was not amused. The page only had a picture of purple and white asters. The two children then spent the whole day together, pointing at flowers until bedtime snuck up on them. So that was the scene. Pretty much that entire scene played through my mind over and over again for like 3 years straight before I had enough and started writing it down. There's also one other scene I have not written down yet that also plays through my mind, like the climax of the story. But this is also, so it's like two scenes in my head that kept playing over and over in my head, which made me like, I had enough, and then I wrote it down. As you can see, I am not a writer. I'm very terrible at writing. My sister has aneurysms every time she tries reading my stories. It's very bad grammar. Alright, chapter 2. Good morning! A girl with deep red hair tied into a high ponytail runs into the cafeteria as she waves. "What's for breakfast? I hope it's pancakes." She grins as she takes her seat at the pale yellow table. "Ah!" A baby in a pastel purple high chair smiles wide upon seeing the girl with the ponytail. "No, eggs and bacon." "Again," answered a girl with her chin on the table. "Also, you take forever to wake up." She quickly lifts her head. "Seriously, Mara, it's so boring waiting for you. Become faster." "Geez, my bad, Chi-Chi. I ran all the way here, like every day. And it's very hard to wake up until the sun's right in my face. So unless you're going to flash 1,000 lamps at my eyeballs, then forget it." Mara laughs jauntily after she says that. "Imagine actually doing that. I doubt there are even 1,000 lamps here." Mara laughs again, her ponytail swaying. Another girl pipes in. "What if we snuck into your room and we poke you until you scream, or drag you out of bed all the way to our table?" "You would be so mad." Mara sighs. "That's not actually a bad idea, Sophie, but I would still be in pajamas." "Pajamas, Mara." The adult with a low, large but neat bun, dressed in a gray skirt and white shirt, spoke up. "You really should wake up when your roommates wake up instead of waiting for the sun to hit your face." Mara looks down at her lap. "But I already tried, and I just can't, Ava." "Oh!" She jumps up excitedly. "I had a dream last night. A really weird one, too." "Oh, really?" Then Ava muttered to herself, "I can't imagine you having a normal dream in the first place." She then looks at Maya and smiles politely. "Please go on, Mara." "Well, for starters," Mara points her finger up. her face completely serious. There was a princess, and she was under a giant tree, like really big. The tree had apples, and she was also holding an apple. The weirdest part, though, was that nothing happened. Like, she just stood under the tree. Dreams are supposed to be crazy, like explosions. Sophie only dreams about that. Mara throws her arm in the air to imitate an explosion. Hey, I dream of more than just explosions. Sophie slams the table and points aggressively at Mara. There's also birdfish. Mara points back. That's still crazy and stupid. She leans backwards and raises her other arm to her chest, striking a pose to get her point across. I don't know why I wrote that. It's like, offended? I can't tell. Anyway, I'm sorry. Your dream is more stupid. A princess for real. That is totally lame. At least my dreams have action, Sophie retorts back, her grinning face revealing she was proud of that insult. Both of you are being losers. You can't control your dreams. Chi-Chi sighs. I'm hungry. When is breakfast going to be served? Chi-Chi's left side of her face was resting on the table as she directed the question to Ava. Chi-Chi's antique brass hair curled slightly up against the table. Her brown eyes, also covered with straight bangs, closed as she yawned. Her dark blue sweater continued to engulf her arms as she stretched her hands in front of her. Chi-Chi then returned to kicking her feet in white socks back and forth, like she did while waiting for Mara. As she crossed her arms and repositioned her head into them. I believe in about 2 minutes or so. It sure is taking them a long time today. Sorry you have to wait, Chi-Chi. Ava looked at the clock high up on the pearly white walls of the cafeteria. She then looked up at the ceiling, where the bright blue sky shone through a patterned window. Mara looks up too. What is that window supposed to be anyway? It just looks like a bunch of square swirlies to me. Square swirlies? Ava glanced at Mara and raised an eyebrow. Square swirlies. Seems fitting now that I think about it. Everyone at the table continued to look up at the ceiling until breakfast was served. Chapter 3. Also, I didn't have to rewrite this one, so this was my first attempt at writing it, and I didn't have to rewrite it. Señorita, come Oh, boy. Señorita, come desayuno. Están jueves y tocinos. Mara runs up to 2 adults quickly, speaking to each other outside the activity room. Sí, estuvo bien, pero necesitan hacer un menú nuevo. La señorita answered back. Yo quiero más yogures y cereales especialmente, the man suddenly spouts. También, tío Daniel. Mara agrees with the man's comment full-heartedly. And my sister writes, I'll remember that. Moving further away from the activity room, the three continue to whisper about breakfast for a while. In the lab, only one rule has yet to be broken by a majority vote. Only English is allowed. However, these 2 adults break the rules and converse among themselves. Mara kept stumbling into their conversations as a baby and picked up Spanish. Ever since the 2 realizes, they make sure Mara doesn't spread that news around the whole lab. My sister compared that entire paragraph to National Geographic. You're welcome. Finishing the conversation, Mara waves goodbye to the 2 to play in the activity room. Tú sabes, yo quiero que ella te llame con el nombre tuyo. El nombre Maria is muy precioso. Daniel immediately winces in pain as soon as Señorita Maria punches him in the gut. Ah, dolor. Dolor. In the activity room, Marwa notices something is amiss. She goes to the left side of the room where Chi-Chi and Sophie sit together. Chi-Chi was quietly coloring, and Sophie had already made a mass of glue, paper, pipe cleaners, and so much more right in front of her. Mara sits across the table in front of the 2 and starts talking right away. I swear the room is different today. Really? I don't think so, unless you're talking about my sweet new axolotl. Sophie places her hands on her hips to show how proud she is of her creation. not realizing that she had glitter coating her hands. Chi-Chi looks up and turns to Sophie, confused. Axolotl? I thought it was a monster destroying the world. Then Chi-Chi returned to her coloring. Oh, my bets were on explosions. Mara laughs. Sophie smacks the table. What's with you and explosions, Mara? I should be asking you that. Mara throws her head back and her hands on her stomach as she laughs harder. Mara coughs a little and then returns. But seriously, something feels off. Maybe it's just me. No, I totally feel you. There is totally something fishy today. Fish. Sophie goes deep into thought. Maybe it's new lights. Or maybe it's just warmer than usual. It's totally warmer today because the lights are making the activity room warmer. Sophie springs back into action. Mara looks up. The lights look the same though, but it's definitely warmer. Sophie jumps up. Maybe we are getting a new thing for the activity room. I'm calling Fish Tank. Hey, you always guess fish. I think there's something deeply wrong with you. And as my sister commented, too many withs. All your explosions and fish comments. Maybe an explosion happened and we feel its after effect. No way. Clearly it's more massive and mysterious than that. Maybe a secret cult meeting with fire took place last night. And then my sister wrote a comment in between secret and cult with, does not make sense, baka, with my hiragana keyboard. Guys, it's not that deep. Chi-Chi side-eyes the both of them for their stupidity. She points to the right corner where a table sits furthest from the entrance. There, a girl and a boy sit next to each other. She doesn't sit there, so that's why the room feels off today. The normality has changed. Chi-Chi lowered her finger, but continued to stare across the room. What? Mara and Sophie said in unison. Sophie leans in close to Chi-Chi's face, whispered, You don't sound like people. Omnipresent? Without removing eye contact, Chi-Chi calmly placed her hand on Sophie's face and pushed her away. Sophie wildly grabbed the air as Chi-Chi holds her away at arm's length. Mara just stares at how weird her friends behave. Chi-Chi promptly ignores the both of them, and Sophie becomes sad, giving up and returning to her axolotl. After a moment of silence, Mara speaks up. I'm going to say hi to her, the girl I mean. She awkwardly gets up and walks across. Whoa, I did not have a space between those words. Sorry. She awkwardly gets up and walks across the room. Crosses the room? No, I just made a whole new word. I'm so sorry. Mara stands next to the boy and girl who sits alone in their... Oh, I know what happened. My sister changed some of the words to be really long. Like, seduced, secluded. Oh, boy. Mara stands next to the boy and girl who sit alone in their secluded corner. She takes in the fact the boy is the closest to the wall while the girl sits very close to him. A book is open wide between them. Mara also notices the boy and girl are the same height. Finally, Mara sees that the girl has no mouth. And Mara becomes surprised at the fact she doesn't remember seeing this girl ever. The two stare at Mara. Hello, I'm Mara, who are you? She extended her hand down to be shaken. Silence. Taking her hand back, Mara points to her friends. Me and my friends noticed you sitting here today and wanted to know more. She laughs nervously as she waits for a response. Oh, hello? The boy raised an eyebrow and then spoke again. That's a first. Why did my sister put two T's there? Uh-oh, don't mind that. I'm a little shy. Mara quickly responded. No, you're the exact opposite of shy. You fall and announce your presence to everyone every morning, every single morning for 3 years straight and counting. He continues without breath. Not only that, but the entire cafeteria has the privilege of hearing your table conversations for how loudly you and that black-haired girl gawk at each other. It's embarrassing to witness. Of course, we will continue to be graced by your shyness. The boy glared at Mara after finishing. Mara, taken aback, stood in silence before talking again. Can I have your name, please? Absolutely not. Harsh. Mara then asked, can I know the reason why you two are sitting here in the corner? Because we can. Reading requires quietness, and all of you are very noisy when you guys do arts and crafts. The boy started to sound bored while he talked to Mara. Shoo shoo. Go back to your friends or something. Maybe run some laps with them to burn that boundless energy of yours. Mara, desperate to learn about the girl, plopped down at the head of the table and stared directly at her. You seem like the type to like secrets. Mara's eyes wide. I have a lot. Would you like to know them? Again, with my sister changing my sentences in moving letters. The girl was terrified and looked to the boy for help. The boy was debating whether or not Mara had actual valuable knowledge or not. The girl turned back to Mara and slowly shook her head yes, blushing. Mara smiled widely, happy to share with new friends knowledge that was centuries old. I didn't write that. I don't know. I did not write that. Okay, so when I was a baby, I managed to sneak past everybody and crawl into a vent, and I somehow climbed my way into a completely different room. There, I got my jacket. Yeah, jacket. Mara pulls forward her short-sleeved, pure black open cardigan with a fire design that surrounds the bottom. I landed inside a box and pulled my beloved jacket on. I got stuck inside the box, though. The caregivers apparently found me an hour later. She belly laughs as she says this. Wait, where is there a vent? There's no vent in this entire hallway. The boy was completely in shock. Unless, no way, not you out of all people. Mara responds, what? Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I went past the hallway and took a right. The vent is very close to the turn. Heh. Mara sticks her tongue out. The girl kept looking back and forth between Mara and the boy as they had a staring contest. The boy's eyebrows were furrowed while Mara was smiling innocently. I can't believe you. The boy covered his eyes in disappointment. What do you want from us? Me? I want to know why she's here. As I said earlier, or I think I did, was that my friends and I were curious about why she's here today. Ronald smiles at the girl, excited to know the truth first. I don't know how to feel about that. The boy had raised an eyebrow. Who are your friends? Do you need new ones? Hey, that's mean, and no, I don't want the world if it means I can't be friends with them. Mara pouts. The boy raised his hands in protest. Whoa, don't take it too personal. Your friends seem colorful. Tell me more about them. Mara's eyes began to sparkle. Really? She gasps. Okay, buckle up. She points to Chi-Chi. That's Chi-Chi in the white skirt and is leaving the activity room. Huh? I wonder where she's going. Oh, well, Mara shrugs. Then we have a lament from across the room interrupted Mara. Darn it! I got glitter on my shirt! No! Right on cue, as always. Mara annoyed sighs. And that's Shofi, the one with a small bun on the right of her dumb head. Shofi's black hair was thinly cut and layered, reaching her shoulders. She ties part of her hair to be in a bun on the right side of her head. Her green eyes would eat you if they could. Shofi wears a plain large white t-shirt, now covered in glitter, dark maroon capris, and lastly, tall, loose neon pink and dark blue striped socks. And yes, it's Shofi. Anything else and she will fight you. I'd rather not. The boy faced his self-concern. Is she going to be alright? How much glitter did she get on herself? Oh, trust me, she had it coming. Mara smiled very grimly. Okay. The boy decided against making any further comments. Well, if you want to know why Aster sits here, it's a very simple and boring story. Marla nods aggressively. Yes, I've been waiting forever. Aster awkwardly stared at me for many weeks in a row. I finally noticed her. She invited herself to my table, and I let her stay. End of our story. The boy blankly stared at Mara. Really? That's it? Mara was a little sad. Well, at least I know your name, Aster. Mara lifts and holds Aster's white hands, contracting to her brown hands. We'll be best friends. Mara tilts her head and laughs. Childish. The boy scoffed. Oh, says Mister, I won't give anyone my name because I'm too cool. Mara rolls her eyes dramatically. Call me whatever. I don't go by anything specific. And it's not that hard to get my attention either way. The boy crossed his arms and looked at the bookshelf to his left. Don't put me on the spot. I'm terrible at naming things. Mara frantically waves her hands in front of herself. I'll let my friends give you a nice name. Yeah, whatever. The boy looked at Mara and unfolded his arms. If you're done here, you should go return to your friends, especially Glitter Girl over there. He motions his head toward Sophie. There's always later. Yeah, you can go back to whatever you guys were doing beforehand. Bye now. Let's all talk together tomorrow after breakfast. Mara got up and waved goodbye. She then ran over to a discombobulated Sophie and returned Chi-Chi. So after chapter 3, I start losing steam and things really go crazy because I don't know how to actually get to point A to point B at this point. It's also a problem because I didn't really flesh out the characters. Like, I had scenes in my mind, but they didn't really have too much of a character, so you'll start seeing how I just randomly introduce pretty much useless characters, as far as I would say, and also turned into kind of like a fanfic between Chi-Chi and Mara, like a little bit at one point. I think I deleted that section though, but it was bad. So you flesh out your characters before you continue writing stuff. Like, make side fanfics of your characters to get a feeling of their personality. Like I should have. Like generic fanfics, like Japanese high school, or convenience store, working at a cafe, or that kind of stuff. To know how they would behave in an environment, and not just whatever I wrote. Because how they wrote the characters even in the previous chapters also were kind of weird. Especially Mara. I don't feel like I wrote her character well enough in chapter 3. And you can definitely see chapter 4 like, whoa. Because I rewrote the entire chapter 4. And it went worse than I wanted it to. And you'll see why. Chapter 4, Attempt 3. She still hasn't woken up yet. Is there anything else we could do? A quiet girl's voice whispered. I don't know, man. It's been a real pain. A confident girl responded. Could the lamp work? I don't think the cord will reach. I'll just pull off her sheets. No, that's too harsh. The quiet girl sounded teary. Please don't. Well, what else can I do? Mara is a piece of work, that's for sure. The confident girl pushes her hair over her shoulder. Mara's 2 roommates have been tasked with waking up Mara by Ava. However, the 2 girls have no clue how to. Throwing her cardigan on her face should work, plus cruelty-free. The confident girl puts her hands on her hips. She calls her jacket. Be nice, okay. Willow, you're very nice and all, but this is not the time for that. The confident girl strides across the pink bedroom and grabs Mara's cardigan off the mannequin against the wall. She walks back and tosses it over Mara's face. Mara instantly jumps up. ¿Qué pasa? Mara was in a fighting stance. The quiet girl shrieks. Oh, it's just you, Willow. Morning. You scared me. Willow was on the floor. And don't yell random gibberish. Mara relaxed her dream. Oh, sorry. Must have been one weird dream. Morning, Darcy. Darcy was standing with her arms crossed and foot tapping impatiently. Mara, it took a whole 20 minutes to wake you up today. Better make it snappy tomorrow or else. Yes, understood. Mara then ran across the room to the vanity, swinging her fiery cardigan on. She gets to the pink vanity the 3 girls have had since they were little and grabs a hair tie off of it. Mara, did you seriously sleep in your clothes? Ew, what possessed you to do that? Darcy scrunched her face and shoulders. Mara's everyday clothes, a black tank top and black shorts, look just like normal. Her cardigan hangs just below her shorts. Mara responded, Oh, I wanted to make sure I could get there early, be already prepared. You need to let your clothes air out at the bare minimum. Even that, it's still gross. As Julia always says, never wear the same outfit twice. I don't think she meant it as in the exact same clothes. Plus, everyone wears the same outfit almost every day. You 2 are the only ones wearing different clothes. Mara cringes slightly. So it doesn't change the fact that you're unhygienic, Darcy rebutted, becoming defensive. Well, I wouldn't want to make this a long-term solution anyway. Just for now. Mara looks deeply into the mirror. At least, I hope they're happy for today. Oh, 100%. This is the earliest you've ever been awake. Darcy pauses, then smirks. Since you have time, would you like me to put makeup on you today? It's been a while. Thank you, but not today. Maybe another time. Anyway, I gotta go. See y'all around. Mara sprints to the door while putting her hair into her signature high ponytail. She opens the door and runs off quickly, closing the door behind herself. Willow spoke up after Mara left. Can I? Of course. This way, let's make you glow, confidence girl. Darcy grabs Willow's shoulders and pushes her towards the vanity. Mara runs down the hallway as usual, but not with as much pressure as she normally feels. It felt nice. She slowed down to a jog as she approached the cafeteria. She thought of how everyone always turned to look at her all those mornings when she came in shouting. Thinking of how she disturbed the peaceful, quiet atmosphere, Mara felt terrible. She didn't even realize she had done that for the past 3 years. She hopes to be more mindful. Not only that, but as well as after yesterday telling Sophie that what the boy told her, she also hopes for Sophie to be aware of her actions, because in Mara's mind, both Sophie and herself are the same. Mara walked into the cafeteria and headed straight to their table, in the middle towards the left side. Very few people were already in the cafeteria. Most were probably still in their rooms. Mara finally said good morning when she sat in her chair. Good morning, Mara. Chi-Chi's head wasn't resting down on the table as usual, and she even smiled at Mara. Morning, loser. Look who woke up at an acceptable time. Sophie completely lost it and laughed, even smacking the table a few times. Mara glared at Sophie before asking, Where's Ava and Chloe? I thought they would be here the first here. Sophie had barely collected herself. They always arrive sometimes after us. Oh, well, you wouldn't know that. Sophie relapsed into another laughing fit. Hey, don't expect him to ever be the last to arrive ever again. So I'll know everything without your help, Sophie. Ha! Mara thought about reaching over the table corner to grab Sophie's shirt collar, but went against the idea. Both of you need to behave yourselves. Anyway, we should continue discussing what to bring up with Aster and Red Boy. Chi-Chi then faced a perplexed Mara. Sorry for starting without you. We didn't know what else to talk about. Oh, that's all right. Please don't wait for me. That'd be really weird if you two just sat in silence, Mara replied. But I do think it's weird you guys want to plan for a hangout. You totally forgot, didn't you, Mara? I mean, you were the one who invited us to go talk with them yesterday. Oh, wait, who's talking? Oh, my bad. You totally forgot, didn't you, Mara? I mean, you were the one who invited us to go talk with them yesterday. We need game plan stat. Sophie then recited, Guys, we will be hanging out with those two after breakfast. No buts. Like, Chi-Chi shot a glare at Sophie, which she immediately went quiet. What Sophie meant was, Red Boy clearly is someone not to take lightly, and we should take our opportunity as he never talks to anyone. Mara nods, acknowledging that Chi-Chi knows what she's talking about. Red Boy? Seriously, totally lame. I got a better name than that. Sophie shrugs her shoulders and smirks. Then spill it, Sophie. Mara points at her. No, it's a secret. Shh. Sophie winks. Mara really wants to smack Sophie across the face, but knows better. Mara? Chi-Chi spoke. Yeah? We shouldn't let Ava be aware of our discussion. At least not now. Chi-Chi looked down at her lap, where her hands were folded together. I know it's a big thing to ask you. However, it's for the best. Wait, why? What's wrong with Ava knowing? Do you think she'll get mad? Oh, no. Mara became very serious. No, nothing like that. Chi-Chi looks up and smiles. I just have a feeling that those two won't appreciate it. That's all. Sophie will also keep quiet, right? She keeps her eyes on Mara. Yeah. Sophie leans back into her chair and puts her arms behind her head. Wasn't even planning on it, she yawns. Man, she's taking forever today. Chi-Chi sighs and then reaches over the table. See, everything will be okay. She patted Mara's head, giving a big, warm smile to her as well. Mara's almost certain that this is the most she has ever seen Chi-Chi smile in one day. Even though it's unsettling, Mara doesn't care. She likes seeing Chi-Chi smile. Mara spoke up. Well, I have an idea. I think we should ask them what they think of the caregivers. She blushes. I mean, I think you're implying that they dislike everyone, Chi-Chi. So if we ask for their opinion, we will get to know them much better. Chi-Chi giggles. I don't think you understand. We aren't asking them questions directly. You know what? Chi-Chi catches her breath. Don't worry about it, Mara. We're just hanging out after all. She smiles yet again, tilting her head as well. Ha! We are interrogating them, Mara. Can't believe you thought that. Sophie was in pain from laughing so hard. I'm sorry I wasn't here to hear the entire conversation. Mara goes onto her knees to make herself taller in her chair before slamming the table. Why are you so mean to me? What did I ever do to you? Being stupid, duh. Sophie tilted her shoulders dramatically and made a face of fake disgust. Clearly, you're still so childish, so you wouldn't understand. She casually shrugs, closing her eyes. The last mistake she'll ever make. Gah! That was the last straw. Mara suddenly jumps over to the head of the table where Sophie sits. The tall chair tips over and falls hard. Sophie and Mara both on the ground now. Mara scrambles to get on top of Sophie, but then Sophie kicks Mara right in the face, giving Sophie time to stand up. Mara recollects herself and stands up, lunging herself towards Sophie again. Sophie jumps back, losing her balance, and she slips backward, hitting her head against the floor once again. Mara tries to bring both of her fists down on her, but Sophie rolls right, where she stumbles to get up. Mara swings a punch right into Sophie's stomach, which Sophie bends over in pain. Mara grabs Sophie and attempts to throw her to the floor. Sophie stood her ground with all her weight, rams Mara and herself back into the table. Mara trips on Sophie's fallen chair and bangs her head on the table. Under the table, Mara prepares to jump forward, but then Sophie swings her foot right into Mara's left temple, knocking Mara out from under the table. Sophie goes to stomp on Mara, but Mara barely catches Sophie's leg and pulls her down. Both girls scamper to get up. Mara, being faster, lands a punch on Sophie's left shoulder before Sophie could kick Mara's side. Sophie stumbles backward, putting distance between them. Mara goes to punch Sophie, then something knocks into Mara's left side, sending her flying sideways and onto the floor. She felt a hug. Stop! Stop it, the both of you! It was Chi-Chi. Calm down, please! She squeezed Mara's waist tight as she was on top of her. Your nose is bleeding. Adults and children alike surround them. The adults were shocked that anyone would fight, let alone children. Ava happened to walk in just as the fight ended. She pushes Chloe, the baby, to another caregiver and runs to Chi-Chi Mara. What happened? Ava kneels over them. Someone, get the doctors. Mara, what in the world did you do? Sophie. Mara sits up. So does Chi-Chi. She keeps saying mean things to me. It's all her fault. Mara, that is not how you behave, and you know better. Ava sternly places her hand on Mara's left shoulder. Mara cries. Come on, get up. Chi-Chi, get off of her. The three stand up. Chi-Chi grabs and holds Mara's right hand as Mara continues to cry. Ava calls out to Sophie. Sophie, get over here right now. However, Sophie doesn't move. She stands still, with her legs spread out and her entire body sluggishly bent over. Sophie? Ava begins to walk over to Sophie. Sophie, are you okay? Sophie falls over, her head hitting the floor for the third time. Sophie! Ava pushes quickly picks her up and carries her. Sophie, hang in there. She bolts out of the cafe, losing a gray slipper. What have I done? Mara whispered, her voice cracking. The doctors arrived and led both Chi-Chi and Mara down the hallway. Mara looked behind her and saw the boy. He stood in the hallway with a disappointed expression. Mara became shocked as her sight became obscured by the wall when the group took a right, past the allowed area of the children. So it wasn't supposed to be a fight? I actually deleted the chapter and rewrote it so I could make Sophie nicer. But nope, I just been writing a fight. And that's why I did not continue writing more, because I didn't like that. This is a very rough draft. But yep, I'm not a good writer. I definitely was not made to be writing. So I hope you enjoyed this really rough draft of Answer Unknown. And I hope you have a good week. Bye-bye.